Now I'm just going to look at the finished HTML here, and I am going to make a video of going through kind of doing this from scratch. I won't record everything, but just to kind of go through some of my steps. But this is a finished version. I just wanted to show you just some of the code. I know looking at code isn't the most exciting thing here, but just a couple things to point out. Up at the top, here's your doc type, which if you've looked over your notes so far and you've done your reading, you should know what the doc type is. There doesn't have to be a space in between here. I have an extra space here, so it looks a little neater, so things are separated. Here's where our opening HTML tag, and it has the lang equals n, which you should have. You don't have to have it, but you should have, and we'll try to do that. Lang equals n. Your head tag, and this is stuff in the head tags. You don't have to have everything in here. I would say just these three things. Just the meta tag, the char set or char set for the character set of UTF-8, which you've read about. A title so that it shows up on your either on your window or on your tab. Just put your name here. Student sample would be replaced by your name. That's it. And then this last thing you could use here, meta description. You could put meta name equals description, content equals whatever. This is for search engines, and obviously this won't be searched, and we're not looking for anybody to search this, but you could get used to typing it in. Description, and so if somebody searched it and found it, this would be the little description that would show up, and it's just very little. Don't worry about this for now. Eventually we're going to put in a link to a CSS file. That's what's going to make it look nice, but you don't need this right now, so don't worry about that. But I just put it in there because I know I'm going to need it. And this is the head stuff. So nothing is really seen on our HTML page that's inside the head tags. The stuff that you will be seeing is inside the body tags. And notice just one thing to point out, or a couple things I'll point out here. The HTML tag has an ending HTML tag at the bottom, so make sure you have that. That's where all your HTML is. Once the body starts, that's where everything visible is going to be. And the first part of this, there's a header tag. And we didn't really talk about a header tag. It's different than the head tag. Header is for HTML5. Matter of fact, the header, the section, and the footer at the bottom are HTML5. They're new elements that are meant to kind of describe parts of the page. You don't have to worry too much about them yet, but they'll help us identify parts of the page when we use CSS. So for the time being, just put your image up at the top in a header tag. That's all you need. Just header, opening, closing. And notice when you click on a tag, in this green color, it'll actually highlight the closing tag that goes with it. So for the first part, there's an image that goes in here. And remember, we use the image source tag, img src. This part is the element. This part is the attribute, and this part is the value. So the source value is images, and images is the folder. Keep in mind that we're going to put things inside an images folder whenever possible. So that just means it's in the same, this quote means it's in the same directory, but it's in the folder images, and the image name is ex4 header.jpg. I put alt text here, meaning if the image wouldn't show up or would get lost or something, or wouldn't load, something else would display in its place, and I just put header pic for now. You could put more description or not later. And then also the last part, the width and height, this isn't required, but it's highly recommended, and I'm going to recommend, or I'm going to require that you do it. Always put the width and height in. 840 by 200, that's if you made your image 840 by 200. You could change it, but I'd like this to match up with the way you made your image. And notice this closes. Image src is self-closing, so there's no closing image tag, it's just all one tag. And moving on, again, the section has an opening and closing. Everything that, all of our main stuff here is in the section tags. There's an H1 tag, and notice there's a closing H1 tag, and that's just the big bold copy. Student sample will be changed to your name. There's a paragraph that starts here, and it actually ends after everything. And it just says, below are my favorite TV shows in an ordered list. I actually might put in a bold tag in here. Here's my ordered list, the OL tag, and the closing OL tag. And inside the OL tag, there's line items. And those are the numbered items. Whichever one's first is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then inside here is a link. Now keep in mind, there's text. If you look at my sample, all that you're seeing is the text, the numbers, of course. But the text is basically surrounded by the anchor tags, or the A tags. So it starts off aref, where your link will be. I don't have the link in here yet, but it's going to be in there. Target equals blank is actually going to open it in a new window or tab. And then it's surrounded by, if I click on here, you can see the word lost is surrounded by the anchor tags. The first one has the attributes and the properties. Ref is the attribute. Property is where it's going. And let me throw one in here. I'll go to my, here's Lost TV series, and I'll just go up here and I'll highlight and copy. I'll do a Command C and copy the URL for the Wikipedia, and I'll just go back to brackets, and if I want to paste it in here, I'll just do a Command V and I'll paste that link in there. Notice it broke to another line. That's okay. And there's my link. So that whole URL is going to be in that quote. It's still going to say target equals blank, and what it's going to link to is lost. Okay, and then I would do that for the other ones, but I just have them blank. I just have nothing inside the quotes for now, but they're all ready to go. So those are my links, and they're also part of an ordered list. Moving down, another paragraph. This paragraph ends, new paragraph begins. Some of my favorite things to do in a bulleted list. Maybe I'll put a B tag here too. And you can see it's making a closing B tag, which I have to cut and put over here so that it's just making the word bulleted, just to emphasize that bulleted is going to be standing out. And then in this bulleted list, there's a UL, which means unordered, which is bulleted to start. And there's basically I put 5 line items here. You can put whatever you want. If you want to put some other kind of list, you know, types of trees you like or something, I don't care. Just put a bulleted list of something else. I couldn't think of anything, so I just put favorite things to do. So whatever you want to put in there, that's up to you. Just put 3 or more things in a bulleted list, 3 or more things that you could link to in a numbered list or an unordered list. And then finishing this off, the unordered list closes, and then the paragraph closes, and then the section closes, and then the last thing here, there's a footer element. That's an HTML5 element as well. It's just kind of a little footer at the bottom. And there's an open and closing footer tag, and I just put copyright, and this symbol here is the ampersand copy semicolon. And you can look on W3 Schools to see, you know, a whole listing of some of those basic things. Even if you start typing something, it'll even come up. And I'll go through that once I start typing this HTML from scratch. But I just wanted to show you the finished sample of how it's going to look when you're done. This is what the code's going to look like. You're going to upload it along with your image, and then it should look like this when you're done. Obviously, with a different picture, yours isn't going to say student sample. It's going to say your name, and then your name will be down here too, copyright, because you did it. And then up here in the tab in the title, your name is going to be there. So I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to go over actually starting this out in brackets.